I learned something about my routine at the gym today.
Save
One of the, so let me tell you about this. This is actually kind of...
No, we got to do the intro.
No, we're not doing an intro.
We're not? Okay.
We're just talking ourselves in. We don't do intros anymore,
intro.
guys. This is the intro.
Welcome to Stay Paid.
Yes.
I did
Stay Paid. Listen, I don't know. I didn't realize that this was me, but this is me. I'm at the gym every morning, early in the morning, and there's always older people there.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And there's a couple younger people, but they're not.
The early morning is when the older
crowds there. Because the older citizens.
The elder citizens.
The elder citizens. So there are older people there. Yeah. That's because they're more disciplined, to be honest. So, they show up consistently. But so I'm there, and you don't realize psychologically how good you feel about yourself when you're the strongest person in there, or like when you're that. Like this is terrible to say, but I thought this would be really interesting because it is kind of funny. Well, there's some younger people there, and I still am like. I told Megan, I was like, I'm like the strong. Megan's my wife. For those who don't know, I'm like the gym guy at this gym at Anytime Fitness in the morning. It's true. And then this dude starts. I mean, this guy. It's like an Abercrombie and Finch model. High horse, He's like a model.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like this random 6'4" dude.
That's a life lesson right there.
Showing up in the mornings. I can't probably do it without his permission, but I should snap a picture of this and be like, why? I was so good here. I'm serious. I thought this morning. I was like, I was so proud of myself. And here's this dude. I'm sure he plays like football or something like that. He's probably in college or something, but it has to be 6'4", and I look weak next to him.
Well, that's
a discouraging feeling.
That's all right.
And let's apply that to sales. You ever sit next to the top producer and it just brings you down? In today's podcast, we're going to talk about the secret that top producers know. We did a whole webinar on this, and it's really about a referral generating system, and we're going to walk you through the principles of how to do it. But a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, but it's just like my feeling at the gym. I didn't even plan this segue, but it's a really good segue.
That's not
when
bad.
you are next to a top producer, or you're next to a better looking dude than you, a studly dude that is just like...
Obviously, you feel that way now.
Yeah, I feel that way right now.
I'm right next to you.
I can't. Anyways, okay. But you feel, I'm working out next to this guy. He brings me down. Kevin's like putting his hand on his forehead back there, our writer, Kevin. But here, you're next to the top producer. Have you ever looked at the top producer and gone, how in God's green earth does that person close more than me? I mean, some of these real estate agents, they use pictures from 20 years ago, and you're just like, how? You look at their website and you go, how? How in the world are they closing more? I don't know if you guys have that same feeling, or maybe in insurance and finance, you're just like, how in the world? And we're going to talk about today, very specifically, pull out your pen, take note.
Very tangible tips
if you
for how.
Want to know what top producers focus on statistically, not Josh and I's numbers, literally the data from the National Association of Realtors, where they put their focus, where they get their deals. We're going to talk about it. And then we're going to talk about if that's where you should put your focus, how do you build a system? What do they tangibly do system-wise to make sure that it reaps this harvest for them every year? Because a lot of times you feel the top producers in your office, it's not that they don't work. I'm not beating up top producers here. So any top producers that listen to us, I love you guys. But you just know how to work smarter, not harder. And you're running your business, and your business is not running you. The rest of the people are on a hamster wheel, constantly chasing deals, constantly getting commission breath, and constantly just desperation mode. And today we're going to solve that.
Lay the groundwork here. We're talking about a referral generating system.
Yes.
This is this bottom line. This is the secret. Top producers are leveraging things that happen in their past transactions to drive their next transactions. And when you look at the statistics and you start laying down the groundwork for where the numbers and the data tells you to go, not where the gurus tell you to go, not where the influencers on Instagram tell you to go, but when the actual numbers that's being produced. And we're going to speak very specifically about real estate, but this is not specific to real estate. When we look up the numbers in financial advisor services, when we look up the numbers in insurance services, they're all pointing towards the same thing. But the numbers that we'll be using, just so everyone is kind of aware, is going to be specific to real estate. And then you line that up with where people are spending their time and where the top producers' leads are coming from.
Correct.
And the income that they're earning, everything starts to fall into place. So lay it out like that. Obviously, there's some statistics from NAR that we go over.
We'll walk through the data, and then we'll walk through what we have learned from a principle.
It's 3 steps. The system's 3 steps.
Yeah, the three strategies you have to have in your system. Albert Einstein, and I'm going to butcher this, but doesn't he say if he's given an hour to solve a problem, he spends 55 minutes on asking the right question?
I've never heard that, but I heard it on your webinar.
Fact check that. I'm pretty sure that's an Albert Einstein quote. Like, I'm homeschooled, so I could have made that up. I don't know, and that's not a knock against homeschoolers. Homeschoolers are usually smart. I was an anomaly with homeschooling because
did your mom teach?
My mom taught us. Andrea's giving me an A+ right there. So see, look at that. Homeschoolers are really smart. Like, my brother went to college at like 15. My sister went to college.
I was going to say, because that would be a tremendous joke.
I went to college at almost 19, so I was not the guy who was the smart homeschooler. But here's what I am saying with that point.
Yes.
Every person in the car listening to us, laying in bed listening to wherever you're at your office.
In the gym, looking at that other dude.
Yes, looking at the other dude in the gym, which happens, too often. You get gun shy, literally gun shy, But if you watch our YouTube video, you saw I just flexed right there. For those who are not watching our YouTube video, go to our YouTube channel. Here's the thing. You have to ask the right questions. And I mentioned this on the webinar we did. Tony Robbins' simple quote, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So what is dictating your focus? Really the questions and what you're asking yourself and what you're looking at, what you're focused on, obviously, is where you're going to put all your time, your money, your energy. Most of us will put our time and energy into cold lead generation. The money that we spend, if you looked at your budget right now, I guarantee you most of your marketing budget is going to trying to go out into the world to the general public, to anonymous people that do not know you and you don't know them, and you're trying to get them to know you and trying to turn that into a deal. That's where most of our time, energy, and money is spent. So what's the right question to ask? The right question is this: where do transactions come from in my business? Where do transactions come from in real estate? In 2018, because we're in 2019 right now, the question I would be asking myself is, in 2018, where are the transactions coming from? So what does the data say? Not Luke Acree, not the gurus, as Josh said. What does the data say? And if you look at the National Association of Realtors, it's like the buyer and seller trends report.
Yeah.
If you look at the trends report they put out every year, now this is you guys as association. This is the your national association, so you have access to this data. When you look at it, it literally says 64% are finding their real estate agent they're getting their transaction using a real estate agent that was referred to them or that they used in the past. Now think about that, because light bulbs should be going off in your head right now. Literally 7% of transactions come from open houses. 6%, I believe, come from builders. I think it was like a little over 4% come from internet leads.
Internet leads, yeah.
But the point being, do not hear me wrong here. You should do open houses.
Yep.
You should do builders, or try to find builders you can work with. You should do internet advertising.
But where's the majority?
But where are the majority? And so it's always kind of framing it up in analogies or examples people can understand. If you're a gambling person,
yep,
and you're going to bet something, are you going to bet where you have a 64% chance of return, or are you going to bet where you have a 7% chance of return? Where are you going to bet?
If the return is the same, because guys, the return's the same.
The return's the same.
That referral is going to be selling a similar house in value probably to that internet lead.
So what the top producers understand is they understand this idea. So what's the secret? What they do is they focus way more time, energy, money on the relationships that drive referral and repeat business, i.e. their database of past clients and SOI, their sphere of influence, than they do trying to go out into the general public through advertising, whether that be billboards, Facebook ads, Zillow advertising, postcard mailers, even farming. If you used our product, American Lifestyle Magazine, even using American Lifestyle Magazine to farm, they understand I'm going to spend I'm going to take the majority of my money and energy and time, and I'm going to invest it into focusing on my database of relationships. But here's why we don't do it. Why we don't do it is because naturally relationships take what? They take time. So in order for someone to have the opportunity to buy from you, what has to happen? There's a trifecta that has to come together. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you maybe heard me say it before, but people have to know you, like you, and trust you in order for you to have an opportunity. It doesn't guarantee they're going to buy from you because you know, like, and trust a lot of people. It doesn't mean you use them, right? But that has to be there in order for you to have the opportunity to get someone to buy from you. So getting someone to know you, like you, and trust you usually doesn't happen very quickly, especially if it does, it's for a very low ticket item. So especially for a real estate transaction, an insurance policy, a financial investment, those are bigger ticket items. They're a longer term investment. So for you to get someone to know, like, and trust you, it takes time. Well, 87. Sorry, go ahead.
No, not just on the actual transaction, on the purchase, but then to refer you to others.
Yes. And for those people to refer you to their referrals, like referral, 87% of real estate agents fail within the first 5 years. 90% of that 87%, so 90% of the 87% that are failing fail within the first 2 years. I believe, and fact check this, Andrew, see if you can find it out. I believe I've heard the statistic in financial advising is 90% within 2 years.
Yeah.
Fail. Why do they fail? I believe it was Matt Holder that gave us this commission breath. He gave us that term, commission breath, which I love that term. Why they fail is because we're focused so much. We get on this hamster wheel and we go, gosh, I'd have no money. I got to go find a deal. And then a company calls you out of the blue. Maybe it's a lead generation company. They say, advertise to this general public, put your money in this, and we're going to generate leads for you. And they spend all their money trying to go after those leads. And the problem is those are decent leads. You should follow up with them. You should go after them.
You're building your pipeline. I mean, you're
building your pipeline.
Yeah, you have to lead gen.
But they don't answer a lot of times. They take forever to answer. The ones that answer are not qualified. And here you look at the top producer and they're not doing that. Or maybe you spend $1,000, $2,000 on a website, which you shouldn't have to anymore in today's day and age. So if you're spending $2,000 on a website,
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong. You shouldn't have to do that. But here's the thing. You spend all that money on a website and your top producer in your office has a terrible website. They have a terrible headshot. Why are they producing? Why are they producing? They're producing because they have mastered one thing, relationships. They have become industry synonymous, as we call it. Industry synonymous is when people think of real estate, they think Luke Acree.
Yep.
Meaning you become synonymous with your industry. You become an authoritative subject matter expert in your industry. People think of you when they think of the industry. So what's the next question? And remember, I'm kind of framing this up. The data is pointing, not Luke's data, not Josh's data, the National Association of Realtors data is saying, hey, 64% of all transactions are coming from people who refer you or use you again. It's coming from your sphere of influence and your past clients. So focus your money there if you want the biggest bang for your buck. If that's what the data's saying, so now you know that's where you should focus. So what's the next question? How do you focus like a top producer on your database? And this is something that Josh and I know very well because for 15 years, ReminderMedia has lived and breathed. This is what we believe in.
Yep.
Like this is our whole company is about this. It's about focusing on your core relationships. It's about understanding that long-term business, 10-year businesses, 20-year businesses, they have built a tribe that loves them, that knows them, likes them, and trusts them, that constantly refer, that constantly come back and use them again. And so the question should be, what do you do?
Yep.
So Josh,
you want me to answer that?
Answer the first key thing you need in a referral generating system.
It's so easy. Everybody knows it. You have to connect consistently with those relationships that are driving your business.
Yep. We call it consistently connect. Now I want you to think about that. I want you to pause right now, wherever you're at, and think how simplistic that is. And think about, here's what I love about the universe.
I thought we were going to pause for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. We're pausing.
No, go ahead.
Guys, think about that for a second. I feel like we need the Jeopardy theme right now. Here's the thing. Everything in this life, the principles of success, when you study life, because I love researching and studying successful things. Do you go to the gym once and get a healthy body? No.
That has never happened.
It has never happened. Maybe with steroids. No, still can't happen with steroids.
Surgery?
Maybe surgery.
Yeah,
no, not even
plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery, maybe. Yeah. Here's the thing. You don't go to the gym once to get a healthy body. You don't eat healthy once.
Yeah, you don't eat one carrot. And
you don't date somebody one time. Well, maybe there are stories out there. Tell us your stories. If you dated somebody one time, got together, and you've been married for more than 5 years, that would be interesting to know.
That'd be
great. But you don't date somebody one time and have a great relationship. You don't date your wife one time. You don't do those things. Everything in life takes consistency and takes consistently doing something over and over again to produce results. Consistently connecting is so critical, but yet, if I asked you, tell me your transactions last year, how many times have you talked to them in the last 12 months? Think about that thought for a second. How many times? And then think about your true friendships in this life. If you only talk to your friend once a year, are you going to be extra real friends? I'm going to tell you a story that I told on the webinar that hopefully will drive this thought home for you. The reason why you have to consistently connect. My roommate in college, Stephen McFadden, and I sold cell phones together. I moved on from Verizon Wireless. He stayed there, continued to sell cell phones. The reason why I'm sharing this story, because I want you to know I understood selling cell phones. I understood we made our pay from commissions of selling cell phones. My wife and I got married at the time. She wanted the new iPhone for her birthday. Did I go buy the iPhone birthday present from Stephen McFadden? I did not. Why? Because Stephen McFadden had not consistently connected with me about him being someone who needs me to come buy an iPhone with him. It's not because I didn't like him.
Did you ever tell Stephen McFadden that story?
I think curious. I did because he worked with me for a while.
Oh, he actually
worked. Did you meet Stephen McFadden? He worked here. He worked. See, Josh didn't even remember that. So he worked here. He was actually. I got him out of Verizon Wireless. He came up here and was a salesperson for us for a while, and then moved on. Yeah. That's a whole nother story. I actually had to let him go. That's a whole nother podcast on letting go one of your best friends. Yeah. That's a hard thing to do. And I love you, man. If you listen to this podcast,
sorry for blowing you up. Yeah,
sorry for blowing you up. So let's move on to the second principle because consistently.
Wait. Before you move on, what are some examples? Because everyone's listening. Great. I know I need to consistently connect. What are some examples that you can do right now in your business that number one will effectively connect in a consistent way, and then number two, that it doesn't take all of your time?
So I think, when I break down like follow up or break down consistently connecting with people, I tend to put it into, and I say weapons, but tools in your toolbox, right? So you have tools in your toolbox. What are the tools you have? You have a phone. Your phone can call and can text people. You have email, right? That you can
send. Your phone can do that too.
Yeah, your phone can actually email. So your phone is super powerful. But
that iPhone you bought back then, that's
a powerful iPhone right there.
Man.
That is a weapon. You have cards. You can send and write people cards. So you can write people cards. You have the ability.
The power of the handwritten note. We had Kim Angeli on the podcast.
Yes. Great podcast.
Yeah, not too long ago. And she owns Grateful Box, and I had ordered a Grateful Box, and with it came a handwritten note from her, and we had talked to her on the podcast and stuff like that. And I know she's doing that for all of her clients, but I still, because she included a note about the podcast, and it was like, it's going to be something that I remember. I have it sitting on my counter still next to the little Grateful Box, and it sounds so stupid. It sounds so simple. It is so powerful now more than ever to see a handwritten note.
No one throws away a handwritten note in the sense of they're always going to open it and see it. Your email, they won't. Yeah. You're not guaranteed they're going to see your email. Mm-hmm. In the rise of digital content, personalized content is becoming more and more and more effective. You also have, speaking of digital content, you have social media.
Yep.
So you can connect with people on social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is that your friends are on. You should have, that's your business card today. When you meet people, you should tell them, hey, are you on social media? Here, follow me on Instagram, or let me follow you on Facebook. It's a huge thing you should be doing as you meet people to build your database on social media. Another thing you have, which people don't do because it's awkward for them a lot of times, you have the ability to pop by people's houses and actually stop by and see how they're doing face to face. You have the ability to invite people to coffee. Some of the best networks. We had Keith Wilson on this podcast, and a shout out to Keith Wilson. He's an insurance agent. One of the most unbelievable things he does all the time is he invites me for beers and lunch just constantly. Yeah. Because he wants that FaceTime. And that FaceTime is super powerful because a letter can go far away, an email, a text message. But sitting down with someone for 30 minutes over coffee, that's where a true friendship can be built. And if you do that consistently, imagine if you consistently grab coffee with somebody once a quarter, how much you're going to start learning about their family, their hobbies, the thing at work, whatever it is, and you're going to build a real relationship. And then what will happen is you won't just be Luke, the real estate agent. You'll be Luke, my best friend, or one of my good friends that's a real estate agent. And that's more powerful, and that's going to get you a deal. So those are some of the tools you have that you can easily use to consistently connect with people.
Case in point, I have heard the name Keith Wilson more than any other insurance
person's name.
Rep.
He's an expert.
Because he has done that with you. Yep. And you never know who that person that you're building a connection with.
He cold called me through LinkedIn, meaning like I had no relationship with this guy.
Yeah.
He's trying to sell me health benefits insurance and property casualty insurance for our company, ReminderMedia. Reached out to me through LinkedIn, value driven, consistently just hammered me.
Yep.
Called, all those things, finally got me and invited me to lunch. And since then, him and I have developed a friendship and he consistently connects with me. I mean, literally, I'm just going to do this for case in point so you guys can know. This is, I'm going to see if I can find it. So this is Keith Wilson's text to me. He goes, "How's it going? Everything good with you?" And he just sends me random text. Why am I sharing this with you guys? How easy is it for you to pick up your phone today? Amazing podcast we had with Sean Carpenter. He talked about the 4 H's.
Yep.
And one of the things he said you do daily is connect with people, send them something, like high five them on social media, send them a text message. Basically, this social interaction. Imagine if every morning at 8 o'clock, you pulled out your phone, you took 10 people and just said, "Hey, Josh, thinking about you. How's it going?" And you did that for 10 people every single day. That power of connecting will translate to mind share. And mind share, and we're going to talk about this in one of the points, mind share is the name of the game. Remember that. Mind share is the name of the game in business. You don't have to have the best product. You must be the most known. Starbucks does not have the best product. They do not have the best coffee. I like Wawa's coffee better than Starbucks coffee. If you guys don't know Wawa, where do you live? I don't know. You definitely don't live in Pennsylvania. You don't live on the East Coast. But the point being is Wawa has better coffee than Starbucks, but Starbucks is more known.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anyways, okay.
But no, that's bringing us to our second point, which is you have to provide an impact with your connections that leads to results.
Yes. So impact. This is probably so there's 3 points in a referral generating system. The first is, sorry, I keep hitting the mic. First is consistently connecting. The second is impact. And it's impact that leads to advocacy. Advocacy is people referring you. It's the result of getting a referral. It's the result of getting a repeat transaction. Impact is where everybody loses in their marketing. All of you, I guarantee you today, thought, I need a market. I need a prospect. I need to get more deals in the door. And you know what you did? You sent out to the world how you can solve people's problems. You sent out to the world marketing that here's my product. Here's what I do. If you need this, I can help you with it. It was all you-centric, forced into the world. Impact is created by relevancy in someone's life that adds value to their life. So what does that mean? 90% of marketing is irrelevant. The average human being, I don't believe this statistic, so fact check this statistic, but I don't believe
5,000 pieces of advertising a day.
Do you believe that statistic?
I do.
5,000 pieces of marketing a day is the statistic. Billboard ads, Facebook ads, print ads, email ads. Average human being is seeing that. If I asked you to name 3 ads you saw yesterday, you would struggle. Especially if I asked you to tell me the action, the call to action that was on the ad, which is what's important about advertising is what's the call to action? What do you want someone to take action on?
Yep.
Why is that? Because it's relevancy. It wasn't relevant to you. 4,999 of those ads were probably irrelevant to you, hit you at the wrong time where you weren't in the buying mode for whatever was on that advertisement. It didn't resonate with you. So therefore you didn't take action. So they wasted their money. What people have to understand, and Ricky Carruth, and I'm mentioning a bunch of other podcasts, guys, there are gold on these podcasts. Ricky Carruth lives by this slogan of relationships over transactions. It's a longer term game, but here's the secret. If you're a relationship driven business and not a transaction driven business, guess what you focus on when you send things? You don't focus on sending junk. You don't bombard people with your products, your listings, your market updates, all about you and your business. Those are good things. And we're going to talk about why you should do those and how you should do those. But what you focus on is, how can I add value to Josh Stock's life? How can I give him something that's going to create impact for him and Stacy and his family, that's going to be something thoughtful, funny, entertaining, something he'll hang on to, that has shelf life, that he sees as a gift? Grateful box? It's a great idea. Yep. Why? Because it's all about impact.
Yep.
It's a great idea.
Yep.
That is what will lead Josh to what? Remembering you. It's about being memorable. What is our saying? It pays to be remembered?
Pays to be remembered.
It pays to be remembered. Being memorable. And this is another thing about when you pop by someone's house. So people are awkward, when they pop by someone's house. It's memorable. Brian Buffini, a coach in real estate and one of the number one coaches, he's built a career on teaching people really how to pop by people's house and really live by referral. But this idea of popping by people's house, it's so awkward, so uncomfortable, but it's memorable. You'll remember someone.
Well, dude, there's a comedian, I can't remember his name, but I think it's got a special whatever that talks about, back in the day, you know, people would pop by all the time, right? Now, if someone knocks on your door, what are you doing? You hide. You're like, wait, who's in my front door?
Under the couch. You're like,
so
I don't want to talk to human beings.
Look, you're differentiating yourself. If you're doing that, you are going to be differentiating yourself, and you're going to be building that relationship, building that connection. How does so that people can kind of make it tangible? How does something like the Ford method? Because obviously, yes, we talk about that here on the podcast before, but it's also a way, like if you follow the Ford method, now you have
that's
a
how
way
you create
to connect,
impact, connection
that will ultimately leave that memorable impression on them. So walk through that.
So the Ford method, for those who don't know, stands for family, occupation, recreation, dreams. If you struggle to have conversations with people, if you struggle in a networking situation, whether it's your first day at college or it's you're meeting a prospect for the first time, you're like, how do I build rapport with somebody? Tony Robbins says, everything you want in life, someone else has. So the listing you want to sell, someone else has that listing, meaning there's a consumer that has it, and you need to get into what? A state of rapport with them. Because if you get in a state of rapport, then you have an opportunity to sell that listing. How you get into a state of rapport is you have to connect with somebody. You have to have a harmonious relationship, a connection with somebody. How do you connect with people? Well, there's 4 pillars of life that are extremely important to everybody. Their family, their occupation, their recreation, which is their hobbies, and their dreams. If you just talk to people about that, and to pull it out of them, to get people to open up, what do you have to do?
You got to open up
yourself. You got to open up, So be vulnerable yourself. People don't understand that in sales. If someone's not opening up to you, it's because you probably look like a freaking stone wall. It's like, you can, how's your family? How's your occupation?
What do you do?
What do you do? Like you can 99 question somebody or 20 question somebody. But the point being is like, if you struggle, open up yourself on how's your family? How's your occupation going? You know, what's your hobbies? Open up yourself, be vulnerable yourself, and people will naturally come in and start being vulnerable, and you can connect with anybody. And then think about it this way. Your marketing, how is it connecting in those 4 categories?
Right.
Because 90% of a human being's life is focused on those categories, not real estate. Wasn't it Kim that talked about the podcast that she said, Dennis, what do you think they think about?
Right.
They think about teeth. What do you think real estate agents think about? They think about real estate. What do you think insurance agents think about? They think about insurance. What's her point in saying this? Her point in saying this is you might think a dentist thinks about real estate. They don't. They think about teeth. You only think about real estate. 90% of the time, my wife is not thinking about real estate, but yet real estate agents think I'm going to market real estate 100% of the time to them. Connect with my wife on those 4 different areas. And then when the time comes that she needs a real estate agent, you got to make sure the 3rd point of your referral generating system is solid. What's the 3rd point?
Well, hey, before we get to the 3rd point.
You keep stopping me for these 3rd points.
I know, man.
I'm excited.
This is exciting stuff. Just to prove what Luke is saying here, when you learn who your people are, what do you get to do with that? Now you get to personalize the message. You get to customize the message, ultimately lead to impact. And the point that I wanted to bring up there is personalization based on some statistics that I looked up online here, but it's going to deliver 5 to 8 times the return on your investment on your marketing and can lift your sales by 10% just by taking the time to learn that about your clients and then applying that to your marketing, to your communication by personalizing.
Why do you think we don't? Why do you think every business person that's listening to this right now is probably going, well, duh, I know this.
They don't. It takes time.
Why do you think we don't do it?
It takes time. They don't have the system in place. You don't have a place where you can take notes on Luke to record what he wants, what he likes.
It's interesting, you know, the saying, what's the best CRM to use? The one you'll use.
Yep.
You know, that's the saying. I don't know how to get you guys to take the time to do it. Just being honest. Like, I don't know how to get people to commit, be dedicated, and make the decision every single day. And what I would challenge all of you is, until you take ownership of that laziness, it's not that you're not going to be successful, but you will never live a life of freedom that you ultimately want. You'll never live a life of freedom that you ultimately want. You know why? Because your laziness is in control. One of the most powerful things I've ever heard is that when you hit that alarm snooze button, you're out of control. Meaning the idea, like when your alarm goes off in the morning,
up control.
Given up.
Back to that.
Who said that? It was a book or something like that. But it was an amazing thing that saying
Michael Scott said that.
Michael Scott.
But he got it from Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, he got it from Wayne, and that got it from Luke Acree. But the point being is that hitting that snooze button gives control to your body, meaning like your mind is no longer in control. Your tiredness is in control. Not keeping track of your clients.
Man, I hit the snooze button one time this morning, Luke. Come on, one time. I was still up at 5:05.
Josh is actually looking so much more muscular, man.
That's the only reason why we did this podcast.
He has big arms. Go to the YouTube channel. I was shocked. I mean, he used to work out a ton.
He's shocked?
He's mad at me for saying
shocked.
I was shocked. But you're looking really good. He's starting to work out. I feel like I was instrumental in that change in his life because of all my 4 a.m. workouts. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should.
I told you multiple podcasts. I said I'm going to work backwards.
There you go.
I'm at 5 right now, 5 a.m.
So let's go to the third
point, obviously, is you have to brand yourself in order to capture the mind share.
Yes.
And this goes so much further beyond every time someone hears branding or hears brand yourself, put your contact information, they think their logo, they think their visual identity, they think all of these things that make up the look. And what we're saying here is branding yourself not only will capture the mind share, but branding yourself will give a perception of what your success can bring to your clients.
Yes.
Right?
Well, there's a statistic, I believe, again, you fact check me, but I believe it's 76% will use the first person that pops into their mind. It's in the high 70s, I believe. It's in the high. So think about that. So when someone thinks real estate, 76+% of the time, they will use the very first real estate agent that pops into their mind. When someone thinks airlines, if you think of, United or you think Delta, whoever pops into your brain first, 76% of the time, you're going to use them. I keep hitting the mic. Mark, I am so sorry. But, hopefully it's just waking you guys up on this podcast.
What'll be funny is when Mark cleans up all of those out.
And no one knows that I hit the mic really loud. I'm really, obviously energized right now. So what is my point with that statistic? The branding, why it's so important that when you consistently connect, you can consistently connect with something of impact, but it has to brand you. It has to come back to making it easy for people to understand twofold. One is that you're more than just a real estate agent, or you're more than, let's use an insurance agent. You're more than just an insurance agent. But second, that you also are an authoritative subject matter expert. You have altitude on the subject matter of insurance, meaning this is where you actually put out your business type content. And I gave an example on the podcast. I like using the 80-20 rule in life because I think it gives us a good guideline that we can go off of. It's not an exact science, but the idea is 80% of the time, you should be consistently connecting with people of things of impact that really don't have to do with promoting your business. That would be connecting with people through things like community events, recipe cards, things that are entertaining, they're educational, they're value driven, that they'll enjoy, that's more about them than it is about you. 20% of the time, your marketing should be positioning you as an authoritative subject matter expert. What does that mean? It means that you want everybody in your sphere of influence to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if they need anything in insurance, I'm going to talk to Josh. I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm signing a agreement with a property management company because I have some rental properties. So I'm signing an agreement with a property management company. When I read through that agreement, I come to a line that talks about the amount of insurance that I need to cover the properties. I have no idea what this line in the contract really means. It's in that moment. You want to be my insurance agent. You want to have branded in my mind
Who do I call?
Yeah. Right? So that is what I'm getting at, is that the only way you get there, how do you get there? Let's get to the application. How do you become an authoritative subject matter? It's through the passion for the subject matter. It's through the altitude of your knowledge on a subject matter. I keep saying the word altitude because Grant Cardone gave this to me. When you have altitude on a subject matter, maybe you guys can tell when I talk about this subject, I can just go on and on and on about it. Why? I know it. I've lived and breathed it. It's what I do every single day. It's my life. And so I have altitude on it. It's knowledge ingrained in me, and I passionately share it because I love it. That's going to brand me naturally in you guys' mind as a subject matter expert when it comes to referrals, a subject matter expert when it comes to marketing, because I am passionately displaying my knowledge. So what does that look like for you from a tangible aspect? What if you filmed a video on the market maybe once a month and gave a market update? And specifically make it personalized, localized, right? Sean Carpenter talked about hot sheets. What he talked about hot sheets was he'd get on the MLS every day and he would look for something obviously hot, some type of hot sheet that he could send that's relevant to one of his clients in his sphere, one of his clients in his database. Why is he doing that? He's doing that to not only connect consistently, it's going to create impact because obviously it's local to that person. It's right next to you or something. Maybe it's, what the home down the street 2 blocks down sold for. But it also positions him as an authority on the subject matter of real estate. So now subconsciously what he's doing to you is he's positioning himself as, if I need anything in real estate, first person I'm going to call is Sean.
Yeah.
I'm going to call Sean because I know that guy knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Because he passionately always displays it. And so don't make the mistake of doing things. We hear all the time, it's relationships over transactions. It's value over, taking. All those are true. But don't make the mistake that you're in business, obviously, to do transactions.
Yeah.
And so you have to brand yourself as, I care about you. I want to give. But you want to create a referral consciousness. That's Bill Good. Go listen to the webinar with Bill Good. He talks about webinar too, but podcast. We interviewed him on the podcast. But he talks about referral consciousness. You're training people to know you need referrals, training people to think about you. Have you trained your database to think about you by consistently connecting, creating impact, and then branding it, going, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm an insurance agent. If you know anybody that needs insurance, please use me. Have you done that? And have you done that in every aspect of the weapons you have on your tool belt? Meaning, have you done that through phone? Have you done that through pop-by? Have you done that through taking somebody to coffee? Have you done that on social media? Have you done it through email? Are you doing it through text message every single day? All those weapons are you using to consistently connect, create impact, and brand it, letting them know, if you ever need anybody in real estate, I'm your guy. Woo!
Drop the mic. Right, man. Drop the phone.
Drop the phone.
Phones can be used as microphones too. So
yes,
they're so versatile. So many applications.
Next podcast coming your way is cell phones and the amazingness of
phones.
Cell phones. I love it.
That was the podcast. Hey, if you want to see the webinar that we're referring to, we're going to put a link to that in the show notes. We actually put that out in April for our clients. So just something else that we offer to our clients and customers here at Reminder Media. We put out a ton of educational material, always trying to help our clients use the tool better with some tangible things, but then also being able to take that and apply it in other areas of your marketing. Right. So obviously we have some products, but we want you to be successful. We want you to live this life of freedom. We want you to have the success in your business that you dream of. And so that's why we put out these free resources, these free educational videos. Why we do the podcast. The podcast, Above the Noise, YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel. We have a new series called Put a Pin in It, where we actually walk through. It's a much more how-to style. And then you can also go to remindermedia.com as Jesse's holding up the laptop right now.
She's like, what about on resources?
Up there in the menu. And that's where all of
our
But on
YouTube, you can see Josh's guns because he did flex his arms. Yeah. Pretty big arms, man.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. Finally, 74 episodes. I don't know what number this will be. This will be 80-ish, 80-some episodes. And we finally got to the point of this, which was to be able to flex my arm.
Yes, to flex your guns.
Just once. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you heard today here on Stay Paid, please go on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, and make sure to leave a comment. And if you're looking for ways to support the show, please let somebody else know about the podcast today. It really helps us out, really helps us spread the word. You can also find our podcast, including this one, in video on youtube.com/remindermedia or staypaidpodcast.com, which is where you can also find the show notes and the links that we previously spoke about. You can get hold of me or Luke on Instagram at StayPaidPodcast. You can also follow Luke at Luke Acree. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
And I'm Luke. And guys, what I would encourage you, the action item here is, do you have a referral generating system that follows these 3 principles? Look at your database. Are you consistently connecting with everybody in it? Are you sending things to them and doing things for them that create impact that will ultimately lead to advocacy? And then third, the things that you're sending to them and how you're positioning yourself. Is it branding you in their mind as a subject matter expert when it comes to real estate? And more importantly, as a friend to them, someone that values the relationship with them. If you create a system in your business for your even 50 contacts, just 50 contacts should net you 100 leads this year alone, according to the statistics from NAR. So guys, make sure you look at your database after you listen to this podcast and ask yourself, am I consistently connecting with everybody in here? When was the last time I talked to them? Am I sending things that create impact, or are they just irrelevant and all about me? And then third, am I branding myself to where I build a friendship with these people and then position myself as a subject matter expert? If you're doing all three of those things, you'll build a business that lasts more than a decade easily. Remember, the difference between a top producer and a mediocre producer in any business is top producers take action. So take action on that today.